Hi, everyone. Good morning from New Zealand. Welcome to you from wherever you are watching us today. So I'm Grace. I'm the Developer Evangelism Manager at Xero. And today I'm really excited to be with you for our end of year wrap up, where we're going to be able to talk a little bit about what we've shipped this year and also get a little bit of a sneak peek on what might be coming in 2022. So today I'm joined by quite a few members of our ecosystem team. So we have myself, Dan, and Campbell, who will be sharing some of the things that we've done this year. And we've also got Adam, who will be joining us for Q&A, and Rhett and Etaroa, who are helping us in the Q&A section. So if you do have any questions today, then please feel free to pop them in the Q&A. We do have quite a few questions which people submitted during registration, which we'll try and get through. And otherwise, if we don't have time for you, feel free to reach out to us via our support channels to learn more about the things that you want to know. So without further ado, I am going to hand over to Dan Young to take it away.
Hey everyone, thanks a lot, Grace. Wow, 2021, it's been a hell of a year. I think we'll all be glad to have a holiday, frankly. And we're looking forward to 2022 and what that'll have to offer. Maybe we'll see all of you lovely people in person at some point. Perhaps that's aspirational, but I like to think that's something we might be able to do. But even though there's been a pandemic going on, we still have been building that network of innovation that we always talk about, accelerating that supply and demand flywheel, putting in the best tools and programs and incentives to attract developers and help them grow with us. And today, I'll talk a little bit about what our focus has been for 2021, and then I'm going to tease a few things that we're thinking about for 2022. It's going to be fun, so let's get stuck in. Okay, so next slide there, Gracie, thank you. Perhaps the biggest announcement of the year for Developer Platform is that OAuth 2 is now the default and only way you can integrate with Xero. Remember, OAuth 2 makes it even easier for our customers to connect apps, advisors, and financial institutions that power beautiful business. As of a week ago, we have finally switched off the OAuth 1 gateway. It's fair to say it's been emotional. Now, this is an epic milestone for the team. I think I was speaking with Adam last week or the week before, and the first user story that entered our backlog was in December 2017. Wow. We did change tack a couple of times along the way with this project, but in the end, it was the go-to-market, comms, and migration program that took all the time. Yep, that's how long these programs take. But it's such a good feeling when you can actually deprecate a piece of legacy infrastructure too. I'm sure a lot of you will be feeling in the same boat on things that you've been doing too. Now, one of our goals in the OAuth 2 implementation itself was to provide a generic flow for all of our app types. To a certain extent, this hypothesis held true. However, we did receive a lot of feedback that it didn't cater for many of our private app developers. And so after much deliberation and prioritization, we decided to round out our OAuth 2 offering with a new, even better solution called Custom Connections. And so now developers building machine-to-machine integrations can utilize the client credentials grant type to build integrations for their organization. Custom connections strip away much of the complexity that comes with connecting a traditional app to the Xero API, making it easier for developers and app owners to build and manage custom apps. We are working on multiple custom connections right now, and we'll be extending support for this and to other regions in 2022, so watch out for that. There has been quite a bit going on in API land as well. So lots of improvements to the contacts endpoint on API accounting. The team are constantly making improvements in this space, so watch for more coming in the new year. There was good news for our finance and lending partners with the release of the Finance API. Now you can use this in the course of a loan application, which may assist lenders to gain the confidence they need to provide capital. If you're a financial institution or other partner who wants to leverage the Finance API for your business customers, contact us, api@xero.com, to become a financial services partner. Here's a goodie. The Budgets endpoint that was released as part of the Xero App Store launch after much demand over the years. You're welcome, Spotlight. This makes it easier for third-party apps to streamline and automate budget and reporting workflows inside and outside of Xero. So this is going to boost efficiency and gives you a more complete, granular picture of planned and actual budget information, which is going to help small businesses and their advisors plan ahead, optimize, and also grow. And lastly, Xero App Store Subscriptions API. That's a light service allowing you to manage your app subscriptions. You can jump onto the Developer Center to find out more about those great new services. Cool. So another big piece of modernization work that we've done is to re-platform developer.xero.com. You'll see a nice UI refresh as well as new docs and search. And we're striving to have all of our API reference documentation be driven from the Open API spec. So expect a lot more improvements as we roll that out across our product teams. We've been doing a lot of work in the developer portal this year to provide new experiences to all of the developers in our network. The new API Explorer, for example, helps you discover the potential of over 100 API endpoints, get clear guidance on building requests, easily create, read, and update your Xero and Xero demo org from a testing perspective, and also add custom headers to understand and troubleshoot integrations. This year, we've also released a more useful app history page. This is part of a wider piece of work around what we call integration health. We recently released the ability to track key metrics around status codes, slow requests, and rate limits from your app history in the Xero Developer Center. Now you can use those metrics to dive straight into your logs and troubleshoot problems. We've also added the ability to filter your logs by tenant name and also response name. Now that's going to be particularly useful when diagnosing a problem for a particular customer. Now, something that we've shipped just recently is the ability to get up to 50 redirect URIs. Now, Ituroa is on this call, so the developer evangelist. She did a community corner session on this. It's lit. You should jump onto the Xero Developer YouTube channel if you want to learn more about that. But TLDR, you'll no longer need to use state parameters to handle more than 3 redirect URIs. So we've increased that limit to help you manage multiple environments or regions, and you can manage that process via the app details page in the developer portal. So jump on there to take a look at that. Now, over 2021 and the back part of 2020, a big focus for the team has been optimizing for the Xero App Store partners. So for those in that cohort, we've made it even easier to onboard, get your app certified, and then manage your relationship with us with the new Xero App Store Partner Self-Service. So for example, take charge of your Xero App Store listing with greater control and flexibility in the updates you can make via the Developer Center. It's going to help you keep content fresh and attract the right customers to grow your business without needing to contact us. Go to your App Store listing tab to check it out. Campbell's going to take us through a few more of those improvements soon during the App Store update. So more on that soon. So jumping into 2022, just quick, we have a laundry list of asks from the community for APIs. The classics in importing bank statement lines, retrieving account transactions, they feature really highly. However, we are less in control of some of those. But the good news is that the ask around repeating invoices is almost development complete, and the team will be looking to roll that out early in the new year, all other things being equal. We'll also keep you posted on those other top feature requests throughout the year as well. So keep sending them through, keep jumping onto user voice and voting. It does matter. It may seem like a black hole sometimes, but we're doing our best to deliver as much of that goodness to you as we possibly can. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this one as it's quite early days, but just a heads up that we're going to try and make it even easier for you and your team to manage your integration together. So watch out for the first cut coming soon. So integration health, it was a solid first step, but we know from our research that providing fitness functions, quote unquote, or integration monitoring and performance is one of the top asks of our developer community. And this could be, it could be a tool that we use to help expedite the certification of apps in our pipeline as well, and make it easier and more transparent about how to get onto the Xero App Store. So watch the space on that one as well. So that was a bit of what's happened and what's coming up in my world. Time to shift gears now and hand over to Mac, who's here to talk about the Xero App Store. Over to you, mate.
Thanks. Thanks, Dan. Some really impressive features that were delivered this last year and what's coming up. So, hey everyone, I'm Campbell. I'm the GM of App Store here at Xero, and I just want to take you through some of the stuff we've been working on, some of the stuff that's coming up next year. So Grace, would you mind moving forward, please? I just wanted to start by revisiting the ethos of the ecosystem. So we support a flywheel effect. If everyone is participating, everyone wins. So if Xero is building the platform and the tools for developers, developers can then build solutions for customers, and then customers use the solutions, which will hopefully make them more efficient, reduce cost, etc. So we set that flywheel in motion, and it should just continue in perpetuity. But what's the opportunity for the customer or the business? So our research has shown that businesses with 5 or more apps perform way better than those without. They grew sales by 4.3% versus those without had declining sales of 3.4%. So it's a massive bonus for them. For developers, there's an opportunity to help solve some unique problems to over 3 million customers and small business users on Xero. And did you know, like 40% of our customers have at least one app installed, which is a massive opportunity. Next slide, please, Grace. Now, I just want to take you through a history of our ecosystem. It's quite vast, quite short, but rapid as well. So it's been quite the journey since launching our first direct bank feed in 2007. We opened up our APIs in 2009. Then we launched our first add-on marketplace in 2015. Later that next year, we relabeled it to the App Marketplace. And then this year, in August, we launched the App Store with over 1,000 of our app partners. Next slide, please, Grace. So one of the key goals with the new App Store is to really get apps into the hands of small business and advisors. So to achieve this, we packaged up a bunch of features. We refreshed the homepage as the first step to switching up some of our information architecture. We kind of like the idea of the App Store being a search-first experience. So, there's less onus on the user trying to find an app or how our app might benefit them. What we were finding is, a lot of people were quite overwhelmed with the number of apps we had on offer, and they didn't really know where to start. So what we're trying to do is really strip away some of that noise, so the journey for a user can be guided by them, and they've got all the tools they need to guide them on that journey. The next thing is we re-platformed our reviews. So we've improved the UX, making it easier to read and leave reviews, but also putting some constraints in place to ensure the integrity of a review. We can see reviews are a key decision-making point in making the jump from moving to install an app. Recommendations. So we collect user data from numerous Xero touchpoints. So we want to start using this data in more meaningful ways to serve up app recommendations. So this not only benefits the user to find the right app for their needs, but it also helps deliver more qualified leads to the app partner. So it saves time for everyone. And the thing I'm quite excited about, which was quite a big piece of work, was App Store subscriptions. So we've built a billing platform, which allows users to seamlessly purchase apps and manage all their subscriptions from the Xero App Store. Grace, if you wouldn't mind moving forward, I've got a few screenshots of this. So what we're seeing here is the pricing plan screen as part of the App Store. So customers can view the pricing plans and features, and then they enter their payment detail. I'm not going to take you through a flow, but the subsequent pages allows them to capture their payment once. Then they can use that payment for every subsequent transaction or manage all their subscriptions. And then as a developer, you can manage, or you can self-manage. There's a screen behind it. You can self-manage all your listings and pricing plans from one place. So the App Store subscriptions, we currently offer fixed pricing plans for our apps. We're soon to launch both usage-based and seat-based early next year. And we're also looking to launch the billing platform into the US for app partners living in the US. So currently we're only offering this to New Zealand, Australia, and the UK, but we soon look to enter new regions, US being the first cab off the rank. Okay, next slide, please, Grace. Now, I just want to go back to that flywheel concept. So if everyone is participating in the relationship, investing in all the tools that we're offering, then everyone should win. And we truly believe the platform and the tools we encourage you to build to will provide immense benefit for your business. And I want to take single sign up or sign up with Xero as an example. So what our research has shown is that visitors to the App Store listings offering single sign up are 5 times more likely to integrate with your app. So it just feels like a no-brainer. Next slide, Grace. So these next few slides, I just want to touch on what's coming soon. We have a Xero onboarding widget. So all new subscribers to Xero, when they sign in for the first time to Xero, they're presented with the app recommendations widget, which lists a whole bunch of apps which we think are suited for their business. So right now we're getting about 25,000 users engaged with this widget every month. And many of those engagements result in an app listing view and then a subsequent subscription. The second cool thing is we've launched just recently a navigation app launcher. Excuse me. So this allows users to switch between the connected apps from the main Xero navigation. And early next year, we're going to be offering up app recommendations within this widget or within this launcher. And this launcher has the potential reach of 30 million user sessions each month, which is incredible. So if you want to be part of this, or you want to be presented in this launcher as a recommendation, or even as a connected app, just let us know, reach out to us. Next slide. Okay, so more on this sort of recommendations theme. So Xero Central is our help center hub for like Xero users. So early next year, we're going to start offering up recommendations for apps within the search results. So for example, if you've got a user who's having problems with inventory and they start searching out for inventory content via the Xero Central, we're going to start offering app recommendations around inventory within the search results. So currently, we get 1 million search users like every month. So that will continue to grow as we grow our user base. Grace, next slide, please. And lastly, I really want to talk about some of the marketing we're doing. So next year, we're really dedicating a lot of marketing effort to drive users into the top of the App Store funnel. So we're maximizing our digital growth channels, and we're going to invest in automation, re-engagement, and content and comms. So in a nutshell, we're looking to deliver on our promise of the flywheel by providing the platform tools, audiences, and traffic to make you more successful. So if you want to be part of the App Store, please let us know. There's heaps of room. Okay, that's it from me. I'm going to now hand over to Grace. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Campbell, for those really juicy insights. I can see there's lots of great features coming in the new year, and hopefully you'll all be able to make the most of that as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our developer evangelism team. So I took on the DE manager role this year, and so I'm excited to reflect a little bit on the things that the team have shipped and a few of the things that we're looking to work on next year. So for those that aren't familiar with the developer evangelism team, we're often referred to as the human face of the API. And so I thought I'd share those faces, and there are a few new ones to introduce to you all. So last year we actually introduced a second team, which is the partner integrations team. Now that's headed up by James Coleman, and he's based in the UK. He has a dispersed team just like me, which is made up of Richard in the US, Sean in Australia, and Ewan, who is based in New Zealand. The rest of the faces you see there, they're all part of the developer evangelism team, and so also spread across the UK, the US, Australia, and New Zealand. And so my team is predominantly focused on supporting those apps which are onboarding to the Xero App Store, as well as helping to build and develop all of the SDKs that you might use and evangelism content. That's in contrast to James's team, who predominantly work with the financial services that integrate with Xero, as well as the large accounting firms, which might have integrations to the platform as well. So one of the new things or new features in our team this year is that we've introduced a new role, which is the App Partner Success Specialist role. And so you can see in New Zealand, there are a couple of faces there, Kim and Jordan. And so they are specifically there to help all of the apps who are already integrated and certified with us to migrate onto the Xero App Store. So if you get in touch with us and go through that process to join that new program that we have, you'll be working with one of those two faces, which is pretty cool. So sadly, again, 2021 did prevent us from running in-person events. However, we have been out and about in the community doing some online engagement by YouTube, as well as getting the chance to present at SASTA this year, which was great. And then some of our local partner managers that are placed around the regions have also been running app community hours, which has been really cool to be able to see some of your faces and meet a few new partners who've joined us over the last couple of years. So it's been nice to be able to do that. And like Dan mentioned, maybe one day soon we'll be able to get back together in person as well. So one of the pretty cool projects we worked on this year was the Build the Future web series. It was a 4-part web series which highlighted technical stories of entrepreneurs who had leveraged the Xero platform in some way. So that featured 4 of our app partners, Scott's Add-ins, Verify IQ, Reducer, and TaxJar. They all each had quite a unique and different story, and it was really enjoyable to listen to them and hear about what their experience was with the Xero platform and their own businesses as well. Might be a little bit of good listening at the end of the year if you're hoping to get a bit of inspiration. So you can access that on our YouTube channel, which we have other videos available on as well. And we also have that on our developer website. So you can find that by looking for the Build the Future web series from Xero. We've also been pretty busy in the SDK world this year. So if you are using the SDKs, you might know that we spent quite a bit of time revitalizing what those SDKs look like with the launch of OAuth 2. And we do have them available across 6 different programming languages, which are .NET, Node, Java, PHP, Python, and Ruby. So this year we had almost 100 releases in our SDKs, which is quite a bit of legwork, but amongst the team, the DE team, and also Richard, who's in James's team as well. So we have released all the 6 major new or 5 major new endpoints or functionality to the SDKs as well. So that includes App Store subscriptions that to go along with the launch of the App Store in August this year. Budgets is available, as well as custom connections support, access to the Files API and also Finance, which is part of our offering to our financial services partners. We also launched SDK documentation, a reference documentation for our API, which is a little bit different. It's a bit of a different take on our current reference documentation, which is available in our own developer center. It's a bit of a different way to really access and play around with some of the endpoints and see a little bit of code snippets, and allows you to play around with it a little bit and swap around between different endpoints. So it means you can do that directly from using, your setup, your test environment, whatever you're playing around with. So that I know was something we're particularly proud of launching, and is a cool feature that we've seen being utilized over the last few months since it's been available. And YouTube has been awesome this year. We've had over 2,855 hours of YouTube videos watched, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. That's a lot of people watching a lot of watching a lot of content from the ecosystem team. That watch was up 15% from last year. So hopefully that speaks to the interest that people have in the content that we've been creating. For those who aren't familiar, there are a few different types of format of the content that we launch on there. So Dan alluded to Etero's Community Corner from the URIs release that we did. It's a pretty fun piece of content, so go and check that out. We also do little release desks videos occasionally. And you can also see this webinar if you want to rewatch it. We'll be uploading it to our YouTube as well, so you can access it. So as they say on YouTube, you can like and subscribe if you want to see more from us on that channel as well. And of course, the question of what's next in 2022. So next year, a lot of the content that we're looking at creating really builds on a number of the features that the ecosystem team will be launching. So you can imagine that with the launch of the App Store, there's quite a few different components there around what we can add into our SDKs, as well as any support through our evangelism content via blogs or YouTube, etc. We'll also be looking at how we can better introduce things like Sign Up with Xero with you, so you can leverage all of the things we've built for you and get onto the App Store faster than ever. And of course, we will be making sure to highlight the new features from the API, like repeating invoices, which is a very popular request, as Dan mentioned. Something that people might not be familiar with is that the evangelism team actually spends a lot of time talking internally as well. So we do try and advocate for the requests that we get through from you, the community, through to our development teams, and we try and work that into our roadmaps as well in terms of what we ship in our evangelism content, and of course the SDK. So keep your eyes peeled across our different channels for the new stuff that will be coming in 2022. I know I'm pretty excited, and with a fantastic full team that you saw earlier across the globe, I know we're going to be shipping some pretty epic stuff next year as well. So for now, what I'm going to do is I am going to shift into the Q&A portion of the session. So as I mentioned at the beginning, there are quite a few questions that were submitted during the registration process. So we're going to try and get through a few of those, as well as any questions that have cropped up in the Q&A during the speakers talking through while Dan and Campbell were talking, and myself. If we don't have time to get through all of your questions, because there are quite a few that were pre-submitted, please do feel free to reach out to us as well if you would really love an answer. We'd be happy to engage with you there too. So I am going to invite Campbell, Dan, and Adam to hop off turn on their cameras and turn on their mics in a minute, and we'll hop into the Q&A for today. So I will hand it over to Adam, I think, oh, no, it's myself. Let me my little slide there. So Adam, hot topic as always. I know Dan talked about the repeating invoices, but we do have a question that's come through from Heather Smith around what additional APIs do we plan to open up in 2022?
Cool. Hey, hi everyone, and thanks for the question, Heather. I guess as we mentioned, repeating invoices very soon in the new year, as people have been waiting for a long time for that one. It's our Ross and Rachel feature. It's been on again, off again for a while, but this time it's definitely coming. A finance API too, building out more functionality in there for our financial services partners. So good to see some sort of new endpoints become available for that in the new year. And I think probably the one that's people will be most broadly interested in is some thinking we're doing about the reporting API and the future of what that might look like. And we've sort of engaged with a bit of research at the end of this year with app partners and developers who work for accountants and larger accounting practices and people like that. Just trying to scope out what the future of a next generation reporting API, or maybe it's more of just like an accounting information API. What does that look like? Because I think as you sort of go down the user voice now, I've sort of ticked off a lot of the other things. A lot of the questions are, or a lot of the asks are for reporting style data and being able to access data that isn't currently available without, syncing the whole general ledger and things like that. And so I think that'll be sort of a big focus for that. But yeah, as I said, don't know exactly what that looked like, but we'll be working on that next year. And then I think I get to ask the next question. It's from Adrian Smith. What opportunities are there to promote new apps in the App Store? I'll throw that over to Campbell.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Adrian. There's lots of opportunities. So as I mentioned in my presentation, we are putting a lot of effort and marketing spend into the top of the funnel of the App Store. So we're going to be driving a lot of traffic into the App Store. But what we ask of our developers and app partners is, they are building the tools which help them be more successful. And the tools I mentioned are things like single sign-up, which has a higher conversion, and App Store billing, which is a better customer experience. So it's again that kind of flywheel effect. If you're building into the platform and using the right tools, then I think you'll be successful. And consequently, we're looking to promote those kind of apps that have a better customer experience. So that's what we're doing to promote it. We're also interested in interesting case studies, app partners who are really solving some kind of unique niche problems and talking about those to our customer base. So if we find that, or you've got something which you think is a niche thing, just reach out to your DE and we'll talk about how we can promote you.
Cool.
Do I hand over, or do you hand over?
No, I've got the next question lined right up. And this is a common one that I've definitely seen in my interactions with some of our app partners this year. So Alan has asked for you, Dan, when is XD 2022?
Well, thanks, Alan. No doubt this is probably the marquee question of the day. Don't worry, we missed you all too. So we're actually looking to get back into our face-to-face events in 2022, including XeroCon, as you're probably already aware of that. Most of you will be aware of that, and are of this moment working on what XD22 might look like. The last time we ran this was in 2019, and for those of you who don't actually know kind of what that looks like, it's our developer roadshow that we ran from 2017, 2018, and 2019, typically across multiple locations, including APAC, EMEA, and the Americas. And it's sort of where new and existing developers and app partners join us to learn more about the opportunity of building to Xero's platform, what's new, how to grow with us, and get some face time with the team so that we can get your feedback on how we're doing. We just love the human aspect of things, and when we're not doing it in person, we're doing it online, as Grace mentioned. So we really sort of appreciate, the human aspect, and we know that you all do as well. It is our favourite time of the year, I must admit, even though it's like super busy time. And we've been holding out to get back on the road. So stay tuned for updates on this one. And they'll come probably in the later half of next year. And this is going to give us the best chance to learn how others are running successful in-person events and which markets are the safest to travel to and all those good things. I mean, we do expect to be making some big announcements this coming year. So when dates are shared, I recommend getting in there ASAP because she's going to be a ripper. Many caveats here, of course, but our intent is to do this next year. So watch this space. And I'd also say that, we're really open to hearing about what you'd love to see at an event like that as well. Be it a lab style thing or developer certification, go-to-market excellence. We're open to any and all ideas to make the experience the best it can be for our customers. So hope to hear from you on that.
Cool. We've got another hot question for you, Dan. Another popular request that goes hand in hand with many of the developer tools that we've been building this year, and that's from Andrew. And Andrew wants to know, when can we expect to see developer organizations or sandbox organizations that don't expire for us to use on the platform?
Cool. Thanks, Andrew. Hope Data Buzz is going well. And also thanks heaps for being part of some of the design research that we've been carrying out as well. We really appreciate that. So I'd probably say, like in general, our getting started journey needs improvement. So we've started that this year with things like API Explorer, rounding out our OAuth2 offering and attacking things like multiple URIs and things like that. Sandbox orgs has been something that we've been considering for a long time, and we just haven't been able to get to it, frankly. But watch the roadmap on this one, because it's definitely something that we want to deliver in 2022. It's, from some of the conversations that we've had, it's likely those sorts of orgs will be ephemeral. They will be full orgs though, possibly without data, allowing the testing of all new features. I think this is the key bit. Will allow for testing of all features of the API, including premium services. And so you can try those things out and then turn them on if you're keen. And we're doing some discovery on this in the new year. And we would appreciate any feedback that you have on what would work for you, what you've seen, what you love. And in the meantime, I think our webhooks work's probably going to take precedence for the time being, but watch this space for maybe the second part of the, let's say first quarter to have an update on something like that next year.
Cool, thanks, Dan. I know that's a popular request at the moment, so and it will make a big difference to devs who are using the platform as well once we have that available at some point too. Adam, I am going to ask you about a couple of features mainly that have been shipped throughout the year that I know you've worked on. So I thought you'd be the perfect person to talk to it. So this person wants to know a little bit more about custom connections and how to make the most of that product, as well as API Explorer and what the benefits of that are too.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, great question. As Dan mentioned, that was kind of our last piece to round up the OAuth2 offering this year, and I think we launched that in July, just in time for our the last few months of the OAuth1 migration to sort of give everyone else another option when they were coming over, and it's gone really well, and we've seen some really good growth there where it's been supported. Making the most of it is really just using it. Like it's kind of the ease of use, ease of getting a new integration up and running. Sort of less overhead over time if issues with refresh tokens and things like that can come up with using the code flow or the Pixie flow. And I think especially if you're building integrations for other people on behalf of that, like just having that separation of the app, creating the app, and then authorizing to an org, sort of allowing two different people to do that, and you don't have to invite people into your org necessarily, or email each other consumer client IDs and secrets. It's just a much more sort of secure way to get up and running. API Explorer is really cool, especially if you're new to the API. And for those that would remember OAuth1 days and the old preview, it's much like that, but sort of we've really beefed it up, and thanks to sort of our work on our open API specs and things like that, it means that we can cover almost all of our APIs at the moment in there, and as new functionality rolls out to the API, we roll it out to the spec that goes into the Explorer, so you can try it out straight away. And same goes for our SDKs, obviously, that your team are working on. So yeah, seeing lots of cool usage around that. I can jump ahead because I know Neil asked another question about Explorer and the finance API in particular. It's something we're thinking about, Neil. It's just I guess the finance API being sort of only available to financial services partners rather than everyone more broadly. We're just thinking about how it makes sense to put that in the Explorer and sort of make people aware that there is an additional agreement to use that API and things like that. So just some small UX considerations, but something we're thinking about.
Cool. I think we also had a follow-up question for you as well, Dan, on the Sandbox org. So that's from Oliver, hi Oliver, it's nice to see you on the webinar today. Dan, the question for you is, will Sandbox orgs also include the ability to connect to Partner Edition as well?
Yeah, good question. I mean, to be honest, it's a very, very early days in this, so this is great feedback. So if that's something that folks are after, then we can take that into consideration as well. I don't know, Adam, you've been doing most of the thinking on this, whether that's been in the back of your mind or.
Yeah, I think that would certainly be on our list of what we intend to do. I think we want to be able to go up the plans to include different payroll and all the other sort of add-on products as well, but likewise, going down to the cash book and ledgers, I think would be important. So yeah, definitely something we'll be looking into.
Cool.
I am going to ask you on Adam. This is more of a technical question. And this person's asked what the best ways are to handle heavy reads and writes to Xero via the API within the limits that we have.
Yeah, thanks for that question. An evergreen one. And I think, our API, the way it's designed is sort of lower rate limits, but allows you to do a lot of things in bulk. I guess when you're retrieving data, obviously using webhooks is a good one, only retrieving stuff when you need it. If you are syncing and polling endpoints, making sure you're using the modified sense header to make sure that you're only getting sort of data that's changed since your last sync. So if you're using the accounting API. And we're also sort of working with trying out a new feature, a premium feature with the App Store called Rapid Sync, which will give new connections a 30-minute waiver of those rate limits. So because obviously most of that pain is felt when you're setting up a new customer and populating their trial, and obviously we want to make the trial experience really great for our customers. And so you look out for more of that as it sort of becomes more broadly available. When it comes to putting data in, again, a lot of our endpoints sort of support doing things in bulk, and so you can send in a batch of 40 invoices in one call. Just remember to use the summarize errors as false parameter so that you get sort of detailed failures messages on the way back if you get any validation on any of those invoices, for example. And I think just one thing to always keep in mind as well is exactly like how much data it makes sense to push into Xero, and that'll depend on use cases and how much you batch things up. It doesn't necessarily make sense to push all of your granular sales details into Xero. Accountants don't typically need that level of information. So think about how you batch that up. Or, if you're an inventory app that supports tens of thousands of inventory items, maybe don't sync those over to Xero and just manage those on your side. Because we do have some sort of soft limits that can impact the user experience for people when they're in Xero, running reports, filing taxes, things like that.
Cool. Thanks, Adam. I'm going to chuck one over to Campbell now, which is about our billing models on the platform. So, Campbell, the person's wondering what. So, how will we know when their specific billing model will be available to use as well?
Sorry, you just cut out a little bit, Grace. I don't know if it's my connection, but so what was the question again?
The question was, which billing models will be supported by the Xero App Store, and how will we know when our billing model will be available?
Yeah. So I mentioned in the presentation that right now we have fixed pricing plans available in the App Store, and we're working on a couple of two other methods right now, which is seat-based and usage-based, and then we're aiming to have these ready February, March next year. So we'll announce this out to you guys as soon as they're available. But the cool thing is about all three of those different billing models is they can be used in any combination. So, you know, if you're an app partner and you're offering fixed-based pricing for one particular plan, and then seat-based, or you want to do every combination, you're able to do that. So hopefully we're aiming for March, April announcement. So fingers crossed we can meet that.
Cool. Thanks, Adam. Sorry, Campbell. Next question is for Adam. Adam, I think that so there's a question here around how you connect more than two uncertified apps to a Xero org, or two uncertified apps to a Xero org. So I was wondering if you might be able to pick up that conversation, maybe explain what the kind of context is around that limitation.
Yeah, it is a limit at the moment, and it does exist for sort of good reasons to sort of protect our platform and make sure people aren't just creating loads of apps to get around things like rate limits and things like that. And so that's the thinking behind it. There are, I guess, one way at the moment is custom connections aren't counted in that limit. And so that is, if you do need an additional slot, that's one thing you can do today. But more broadly, so what we're thinking about going into next year is how we can better support apps that don't fall into the traditional app store model and don't necessarily want to be listed on the app store, but still want to need to operate at sort of at scale on the platform and things like that. And so what kind of alternatives are we going to have for those apps, so they might be able to still get a certification of some kind and potentially be able to connect to be not included in that limit. But yeah, it's sort of one of those things that's still in the early days. We are sort of out there talking with developers and maybe some of the people on this call as well already. But yeah, we do realize it is a bit of a pain point at the moment.
Cool. Thanks, Adam, for that. Hopefully that was helpful for that person. We've had a question come through, which I thought maybe I'd get all of the panelists to contribute to, maybe one idea each. So this person said that they have an idea for an app, and they're thinking about how they can build this app from day one to make the most of what the Xero platform has to offer. So maybe we can just go through each of the panelists, and you can share a little bit about some of the products in your space that people can leverage to get onboarded quicker than ever. Campbell, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to keep going on about this, but it's kind of leveraging and utilizing the platform tools that we offer to make, what we've seen through our research, make these apps successful. So there's stuff like single sign up, App Store subscriptions, which is our billing platform, is just an off-the-shelf, easy-to-use solution that allows better customer engagement. So like from day one, just utilizing some of that technology is going to put you in a really good position in order to put yourself in front of customers. And we, like I mentioned, we've got a truckload of customers or users, itching to use apps for they want to know how apps are going to benefit their business. So they're ready. We're just waiting for the right solutions. So in a nutshell, you try and utilize and you leverage some of the technology we've got on offer from day one.
Cool, thanks, Campbell. I totally agree with what you're saying there. Dan, do you have anything else you might want to suggest to this developer who's kind of getting up and running for the first time?
Yeah, I guess like all the things that Campbell said, but also really make the most of the tooling and support that you can get from us. We're not going to write your integration for you, but make the most of all of the things like that we have on the Developer Center, all the videos that we make. Just really get involved, and when events come around, get involved in it. Like get your app in front of our advisor community. If you're investing in your integration and the relationship with Xero, then you'll get that. That'll be reciprocated. I think that's the key thing. Sort of Campbell's pointing out is that we really invest in our partners, and it's that kind of that shared sort of value exchange. You'll find that if you invest a lot in the relationship, then you'll get a lot back. And the only other thing would be to make the customer experience as lit as possible. That is the key. That is what our customers want. So yeah, that'll be my advice.
Cool. Thanks, Dan. Adam, anything you wanted to contribute from a technical point of view?
Yeah, I'd say from a technical point of view, just give another plug for the what we're doing on the history page at the moment, and sort of being able to see more of those health metrics of your app, and we sort of aggregated some basic things as a starting point around like slow response times or error codes or the amount of times you're hitting rate limits and things like that. And so you sort of really use that to your advantage. It can be a little bit hard when you're just kind of testing at the start, but keep an eye on it as your sort of first few customers roll in and see how it affects things out in the real world, and let us know like what would be useful on that page, because we want to sort of make it really easy for people to have that visibility of the health of their integration and without having to do a whole bunch of logging and metrics on their side. So we kind of want to make that available to everyone, because it's going to be better customer experiences down the line. So we'd really appreciate sort of feedback and feature requests on that specifically.
Cool. Thanks, Adam. I think if I would just add a couple of things in there, like Campbell and Dan kind of talked about making the most of the tools that are available. From an evangelism perspective, there are SDKs here which are designed to help you get off the ground fast. We also have sample apps available. So if you're looking for a kitchen sink app, which has absolutely everything in it that you could need, or if you're looking for something that's just a little snippet of how to get up and off the ground, they're really good jumping off points. They kind of set up those foundations for you pretty easily, and should kind of ease that development process, getting that app up and running. And then, of course, if you're looking to build that to go into the Xero App Store, make sure you check out like some of the features that we have available to automate the things that you might need. So, for example, sign up with Xero or sign in with Xero, where you can actually make the most of Xero's identity service so that you don't have to build your own. If you're building a new product from scratch, that's kind of a huge part of that initial build process, right? Like just elevating or like accelerating rather the components of your build, so that you can get users on faster than ever. And when you kind of bring all those things together, that makes for a pretty neat app, we think. So I know there are a couple of questions which we haven't had the chance to get through today, but if you do want to learn more about those, feel free to reach out to us on the API at xero.com or via our support form available in the Developer Center. We'll be happy to help resolve any of your queries. It's been really, really wonderful to have all of you in the session today, joining us and here to chat with Campbell, Adam, and Dan and I, and also with Rat and Etero, who've been helping out in the Q&A as well. So I'm going to wrap it up there for today, but I just want to say a big thank you. We really enjoy engaging with all of you in our developer community, and a massive happy holidays from the Xero ecosystem team too. So we'll see you all sometime next year, hopefully. Thank you.